All right, we are going to do CSS battle. Let's get started. I got a red thing. Oh, 1,000 submissions. Cool. All right, let's get started with this kind of fat user icon guy. We're gonna start like we're new to CSS battle, so we're gonna select the body, and we're going to set the background of the body to the purple color. All right, then we need a couple divs, probably four, but we're going to start with one, and it's going to be div H for the head. So we're going to say div, I'm going to say background is yellow. Then we're going to select H using an attribute selector. We're going to say border radius is 9 inches. We're going to say height is 50 pixels. Say width is 70 pixels. We're going to say margin 0 auto, but not 0. We're going to say margin like 70. No, less than that. 30. I'm going to reload this page so I get my extension and start figuring out where we are. So I do 40. Now this thing needs to be bigger. It needs to be wider. 90 might be right. It needs to be higher. 70 looks right. That looks like the right size and location for the head. Now we're going to have another div that is the body. We're going to call that one B. So we're going to select B. We're going to say the height is, I don't know what it is, 150. Too high, looks like. We're going to say the width is, I don't know, 150. Doesn't look wide enough. Yeah, definitely not wide enough, but that's okay. We're going to say margin 10 auto. 10's too much. We need to move it back up. We're going to move it up. -10, -20, -30. Now let's get the height right. 140 for the height. Now let's get the width right. Let's do 250, 280 for the width. And now let's do border radius 9 inch. 9 inch 00. And now we have that shape. I think I need all the zeros this time. Yeah. Last time I put in too many that I didn't need. But today I need all four parameters if we're going to do a half circle. Okay. We have the basic shape. Now we need these little armpit cutouts, I guess. We can do that a couple ways. The most obvious way is to do it with a div. So we're going to have a div. We're going to call it C. We'll put it on a new line just because we did it with the last one. Now we're going to select C. And there are a number of ways we could do C. I am going to elect kind of a weird way to do it, I think. I'm going to do border inline. What is it? 20 pixels solid, the purple color. And our div doesn't have a height right now. It's going to have a height of, I don't know what it is, 40 pixels. That's not tall enough, but that's okay. We can start to see the shape. I'm going to put an outline on it so we can see more about the shape. One cube, solid, red. There is the shape that we have right now. We're going to say margin, probably -20 auto. And we're going to give it a width of, I don't know, 150 pixels. There is the thing. Let's move it up a little bit more. Let's say minus, no, that's not working. There we go, -40, starts to work. The thing needs to be taller, so it needs more height. Let's make the height 50, which means we need to move it up some more. Now it needs to be a little wider, 160. Now we need to get rid of the outline. The outline is now gone, and we have what should be a match. Let's submit and make sure. But we have with our three divs here, we have a head, a body, and I don't know what C was about, but we named it C. We did get a match. We have our little guide that we've made here. Pretty straightforward way to do it. Nothing too special. Of course, instead of doing what I did here, we could have had two purple chunks. We could have had a purple chunk and then box shadowed another purple chunk. There's all kinds of things we could have done. We did it that way. All right, now we're going to try to do this. Actually, let's unit replace, minify, submit, critify, put our units back. So that'll get us down to, I don't know, 292, something like that, assuming that works. Yeah, 292. You know, it's okay. There are probably more efficient ways to do this, and we're going to explore some of them. You could have done this with Flexbox. Could you? Yeah, you could do it with Flexbox instead of margin zero auto thing that I did. You could do it with Flex. That would work. You could do this with position fixed sorts of things. We're going to try using the stuff that CSSBattle gives us. What does that mean exactly? I don't know. It means something. What it means for me, how do we want to do this? We're going to have ampersand selector and we're going to say background is going to be wondering, I'm going to do a conic gradient. A conic gradient is going to go from yellow to purple, I guess. It's going to be 75% yellow and 25% purple, but I'm going to use 0 instead because it's less than writing 25%. It's not going to, the behavior doesn't change at all. It's the same thing. We're going to try to move this kind of into place. I'm going to put an outline on it. Outline 1Q, solid. You can't see it because it's at the edge of the viewport right now. I'm going to start margining it. I don't know if that's a word. Margin. To adjust the margins. Margin. We're going to say 100, 70, 20, something like that. That's not right. For now, ignore the background and what it's doing. Just look at the shape. All right. Let's get it. Margin into place better is going to be 120, and then 60, and 40. That's the right size. Now we need a border radius. We could find the actual value that it needs. I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to say 9-inch. 0. Yeah. I have to specify it 4 times. 9-inch. 0. There is the shape we're looking for. Now I'm going to turn that background back on. And now the background is repeating, which we wanted it to repeat, but we want it to repeat only where we want it to repeat. So what am I going to do? I'm going to add, I'm going to change my outline. I'm going to make my outline purple. And I'm going to make it bigger. Much, much bigger. Okay, now I want to get that conic gradient in place for one of these arms. So we're going to use at, and we're going to say 20 pixel. We need I said 20 pixels, 60 pixels, something like that. And then we're going to move it back over. So 50 pixels, 100 pixels. Starting to move that little thing into place. I have too many of those. Let's try 90. That's correct. Let's try 40. That's correct. Okay. Now we have to get it to repeat one time, which means we're going to use slash, and this is going to be, I don't know, 100 pixels. So we have it repeating too frequently. Let's make it 180. That actually worked. I got lucky with a guess. So there is the body. I'm not using the HTML body. I'm using the HTML to make the body of the person. Now I'm going to select the body of the HTML with star selector. And I'm going to say background yellow. I'm going to say outline 1Q solid. It's already black. We can see it. We're going to try to move it outside of the current kind of container that it's in. So we're going to say margin, top margin is going to be, I don't know, minus 100. Oh, and it's being hidden by our outline. Interesting. Let's turn this off for a moment. Then we just get that. Well, that's fun. What if that's not an outline, but it's a border? Then we have to change all of these values. Whoops. Let's make it temporarily this. So now we can see our body element, because we've made the outline somewhat transparent. I don't know how I'm going to reconcile this is the problem I'm having. So let's get rid of the outline. And let's hide that stuff for a minute. And let's do a box shadow 0.009" and make it purple. That's another way that we can deal with the rest of that. Now let's go select the body again. Outline 1Q solid. There is the thing. Now let's margin minus 50. I don't know what A is, minus 50, and then 50, and then 50. Now we start to get this thing kind of close. Let's go up some more, minus 80. There we go. This is going to be more like 150. That's right. That's going to be more like 100. Not quite 95. Looks right. And then border radius 9 inch. And then we just need background to be yellow. We get rid of the outline, and we should have a match. This one is less characters. If we were to minify it, 213, 285 as is. Okay, that is a match. So, can we make this shorter? Probably. All right, so one of the things that we can do is we can make that a star selector. When we make that a star selector, what happens to us, unfortunately, is everything that's defined here on our HTML also gets defined on our body, which basically means we have copied this box shadow statement from up there to down here. We've also copied background, we've copied margin, but both of those we overwrote, right? So background we've overwritten here, margin we've overwritten here, border radius we've overwritten here, but box shadow we didn't overwrite, so it gets copied down directly. The only way for us to really deal with this is to turn box shadow off by saying box shadow 0, 0. There are simpler ways to do that. So instead of that, let's try 9M. Usually isn't big enough. And let's try 9M down here. Yeah, not quite going to work for us because it doesn't cover everything up. So we have to do something like 20M. And so we'll do 20M down here. And now we need to get that to fail. So we can redefine what M is by saying font 0 and get basically this box shadow to fail. So now we can actually get rid of the box shadow statement completely because it's there anyway. So now we've turned off that box shadow. Now the other thing that we have here is we have background and it's this yellow color. If we turn off that background, we get our stupid little cutouts in the middle of our head. So we don't really want that. 20 pixels, is that that's not a reasonable M value, it's something. It is 1.25 M. So let's make it that, 1.25 M. Now, because we're doing font 0 again, we're making M 0. So when that background gets copied down to the body of the page, it's 0 width. So that thing collapses to nothingness. Border radius is another one that we are repeating. Something we can do to make that a little bit shorter is we could say var x and make x equal to this stuff. And then down here, we could say x is nothing. And then we can get rid of border radius. We don't need the statement at all. It can go away. Let's unit replace. 64Q sometimes works. Does it today? Yes, it does. This is probably like 30%. That looks right. 60 is, I don't know what, 20%? Nope, not quite. 25. Nope, wrong way. 15. 15. Yeah, those are the obvious things to do. I'm not really pleased with the score. Minify, submit, critify. I'm going to pause the recording and think for a minute. There are ways to do this much better. So I'm going to pause for a minute. I'll be back. All right. I have one more way I want to try this. It may or may not be better. We'll see. It's going to start kind of the same. We're going to select the HTML. We're going to say background. Should have kept some of that. Oh well, it's fine. We're going to say background. We're going to say this time we're going to do a little bit. We're going to do a radial gradient. It's going to go from yellow to purple. There is our gradient. We're going to, at the beginning, say 1Q for the aspect ratio. We're just going to give it one value, which means it's going to be a circle. Then we need to give this a value, something like 100 pixels. It's not enough, but it gets us started. It's more like 150. Getting closer. We're going to say at 50%, 100%. And then we're going to move it back up a little bit. So 0 and I don't know what it is, 40 pixels. That was the wrong way, so minus 40 pixels. That's not exactly right. It's 140. There we go. There is another way of doing the shape. Now, we also need to deal with the cutouts for the arms. We're going to do it kind of the same way we did last time with the conic gradient. So we're going to put that in front, conic gradient. I'm recording. I don't care if you're in here. You're on camera. Okay. I'm going to do it with a conic gradient. It's going to be similar to last time, but a little bit different. It's going to be from transparent to purple. It's going to be transparent for 75% and purple for 25%, but we're going to use 0 again, just like we did last time. We get that little box. For now, we're going to make it red, just so you can see what it is. There is the thing. We're going to do similar to last time. We're going to say at, I don't remember what it was, 20 pixels, 100 pixels. And then we're going to move it, I don't know how far, 100 pixels, 100 pixels. Don't want that. And then we're going to force it to repeat. And it's going to repeat at, I think it was 180 pixels. Whoops, quit putting that. Okay, I need to move it down some more, so that's going to be 150. And then it doesn't need to be that tall. It's going to be more like 60. And then I need to move it down more. 200. That doesn't look that bad. It's not quite tall enough. Or maybe it's too tall. No, 190. No, now it's too tall, right? Yeah, now it's too tall. Okay, so I think this is 50, and then this is 210. There we go. Maybe that's right. Yeah, that's right. Now it just needs to be the right color. So there's red, make it purple. There's that. Now we're going to select the body of the body, and we're going to use the body to make the head. It's really confusing. We're going to put an outline, 1Q, solid. There is our body. Let's say border, radius, 9-inch, margin, 50, 90, 200. Not right, but you know. Okay. Top's too much, needs to be 40. Bottom's too much, needs to be 190. Sides aren't enough, need to be 140, 150, 155. And then it needs a background. Let's see if this one will work. It seems like it will. Let's get rid of the outline. That gets us down to 182. Well, after we minify it would be 182. Let's make sure it's a match. And then I think maybe it's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters. I think we can say bottom and save a character. Let's unit replace. That'll replace all the easy to replace values. This can probably be 53Q. 40 is 10%. I don't think 155 is going to be anything good, but let's see. Let's say 35%. 37, 39, 40. No, that's clearly too much. 37.5. Nope. 9. 39 is close. I don't think it's going to work. 38. Yeah, 38 is clearly not wrong. 39 is not. Nope, not going to work. So back to 155. Yeah, that looks about as good as I'm going to get. It looks about as good as I'm going to get. We will minify, submit, and have a final score of 174 today. Eh, I don't know, seems high. But that's where I am. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.